Hello, everybody on YouTube and all the NFL YouTube prognosticators and NFL fans everywhere. This is Andrew Warren, back here once again, giving you my thoughts about Week 17 and the NFL 2020-21 wildcard playoff picks. Check it out. First all, to finish the year out in the regular season, for straight up, I went 13-3 overall. That's very good, solid picks right there. Other than that, I went 167, 87-1 overall for the season, for the regular season on that. And against the spread, I went 6-9-1. Not the best, but nevertheless, I 128, 109, and 12 overall the year, which is really good. Now the over and under in the year, not the best in the world, but I almost made a bounce back out of that. So I'm at 119 and 31 overall, and is it 31? Yeah, 31 overall, and 17 pushes. So not the best over and under picks. Maybe we can bounce back the other direction and during the playoffs. So we'll see how this one turns out. So we have to wait and see from there. So what happened last week? Buffalo spanked Miami, and now because of that, Miami's out of the playoffs despite being 10-6. This is so much to tell you that the AFC is a tough division over the last 23 years or something like that, maybe 24 years. They've been the most dominant. So yeah, except you can make a case for the Bucs and the New York Giants for winning the 2 Super Bowls out of that, and the Seattle Seahawks going in, and the New Orleans Saints into that in the NFC side. But anyways, that being said, Baltimore spanked Cincinnati out of that. Cincinnati's a young team; they can turn that organization around. Cleveland. Congrats to Cleveland. They got their very first playoff spot for the first time since 2002, and that, ironically, it was against Pittsburgh too. Now they're going to play the playoffs again. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But now they got a COVID issue going on there, and maybe another snake-bitten moment for them. Who knows? But anyways, nevertheless, Minnesota and Detroit. Minnesota beat out Detroit at the end of the year. The New York Jets and my Patriots. My Patriots got to win at the end of the year. Even though we didn't make the playoffs, I still like to beat the New York Jets. So I'm happy with that. Even though I got that pick wrong, I was kind of happy we won. Kind of good way to end out the year, though. So if you think about it. So in Dallas and New York. Now Dallas and New York in that one. That being said, Dallas won. They had a shot at making the playoffs. No, not really. But the Giants lost, and they didn't get a chance to make the playoffs because they didn't beat Dallas and Washington. We'll get to Washington in a bit. Yeah, in New Orleans and Carolina, New Orleans didn't have the best game in the year for New Orleans, but they ended up getting the win when they needed to. But to end the year out. Green Bay and Chicago. Green Bay, now Green Bay and Chicago. Then Green Bay beating Chicago again. Now they meet again in the playoffs. So it's pretty much simple as that. The Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos. Vegas got the win. That's all that matters. That's a good way to end up the year. Tennessee and Houston. I would have thought for sure that they would have, at least for a moment, I would have thought that Houston would have had a good comeback, but they didn't pull out in that way. But, nevertheless, Tennessee, defensively, kind of show how bad they are, but I still have a little faith in Tennessee, though. I'll explain that in a bit. So, in Indianapolis and Jacksonville, Indianapolis, they got a good way to end out the year. Yeah, I just have to go, and it's going to be really interesting how they go out and stuff like that. Now they got a playoff spot in there. The LA Chargers, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now I got to say this for the LA Chargers. They shouldn't have fired Anthony Lynn. I mean, I feel so bad for Anthony Lynn. I wanted to see what he would have done with Justin Herbert for years and years to come. I wanted to see how they got to fight the Kansas City Chiefs in that AFC West. I mean, that would have been really good to see, but I'm really disappointed in that. I mean, I would have loved to have. I would have given at least Anthony Lynn one more chance before they give him the boot. I would have loved to see that, but I was kind of disappointed that the way you think. But I think he deserves another coaching opportunity, But anywhere but the New York Jets, anyway. I think Atlanta would be a good spot for him. But I still think he should get another chance in the NFL, even though I still think he should have gotten one more year out of in the LA Chargers. I think they would have done something. He would have done really good with Justin Herbert. I think he would have done that. So I don't know what could have happened. So, but you know what? I think it's real disappointing. I think that would have been really good. I think I would have seen Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes face off with Anthony Lynn and Justin Herbert in the AFC West. That would have been really good to see. That could have showed that could have been the top two dogs in that division. That would have been really good. But anyways, that being said, Arizona and the LA Rams. The Rams pick up the win. That being said on that one. Seattle and San Fran in Arizona. Seattle got the win. That was very important to them. But, they didn't cover that. That I didn't get the over and under on that one, but it's okay. But Seattle got the win. That's all that matters. And Washington and Philadelphia. Now, Washington won. They have a 7-9 record. That's the weakest in the NFC East, that division. But they end up getting the division. So they end up fighting that division they wanted. So it looked like nobody didn't really want it. But, nevertheless, the Washington football team, they got the win they needed. Now they have a chance at the playoff spot, which is kind of an interesting twist of that. So, which I will get you the NFL wildcard picks right now. All right, let's kick things off on the Saturday games. We got 3 wildcard games to deal with, though. It's going to be really great to see 3 wildcard games on Saturday, 3 of them on Sunday, which is going to be really exciting to watch. I'll be looking forward to each of them. And for the Saturday games, we have 1 divisional rivalry game we're going to be looking into on Saturday. But first, we're going to kick things off on the 105 game, which is the Colts and the Bills. Going into this one, this is a game this is going to be really close to call, I think. How I see in this game, I believe this is Buffalo's first playoff home game since '95, I believe. I think, if I'm not mistaken on that one. So this is going to be very, very interesting to look forward to on that one. This is a game I expect to be an offensive battle, I think. I think this is going to be 2 of the best offenses in the league. I mean, I would probably say the Colts' most underrated offense this year. I would say, yes, Phillip Rivers. I didn't think he had anything left, and it looks like so he did. So it looks pretty solid on that one. I think this is going to be really good. But Phillip Rivers, not really good in the postseason. So this is what I'm going to be seeing on that one. So Phillip Rivers in the postseason, not the best, I believe. He only got into 2 playoff appearances, I think, or something like that. I mean, 2 wins, I think, and I think 6 losses, I think. So, one of them causing the 2006 divisional run with my Patriots. In the AFC Championship game loss they did in the year prior to that in 07. So, up in the prior to that. So, but I think he got like 2 or 3 year playoff appearances for his record for when he was in the San Diego / LA Chargers. So, I think what I'm saying to that. But, nevertheless, so I think Phillip Rivers, I'm just saying he has more playoff experience. But Josh Allen, this is like his second or third playoff experience. So, for Josh Allen, so this is where the moment is for him. So he wants to be elite quarterback. You got to win in the postseason. So I think that's what Josh Allen is thinking of right now. So, but nevertheless, I think the team has the better defense in this game. I think that's going to be Buffalo. I think so. I think Buffalo is going to end up going to be winning this game outright in this game. So I'm going to go with Buffalo over Indianapolis, despite the fact they have a much better defense on that one. On the line, though, the Bills are favored by 7 in this game. I'm going to take Indianapolis +7. I believe it's going to be a close game, though. But I will say this. I think there's going to be one team going to be blowing up, but it's going to make a comeback and make a close game on that, which I do believe Buffalo's going to be killing them, but Indianapolis is going to have a great comeback trail on that, but it's going to fall short, I think. I think that's the way it's going to roll out on that one. So that's the way I'm going to see on that one. So I'm going to take Indianapolis +7. Over and under 51.5. I'm going to go over 51.5 because I believe this is going to be like an over game on this one. It's going to be a very close over game because both Phillip Rivers still has it and Josh Allen can throw. So I think this is going to be the offensive explosion on that one. So that's the way I see it in that one. All right. Now the divisional game I told you about, the division rival, the LA Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, this is a game I expected to see who comes out on top, but I would say if Seattle was on the road, it would be a lot different situation on that one. But now Seattle's at home in this game. I think this is going to be a much different advantage for Seattle. But I understand there's no fans in there. I get all the COVID issues going on and stuff like that. But this is going to be a defensive battle, I believe. But I think they can hold it off. Just get it over the over and under just barely. But I think it's going to be a little close game, I think. I think it's going to be a really defensive battle in this one, I see. I expect this is going to be a really close game. I think Russell Wilson and Jared... I don't know about the Jared Goff situation. He has a thumb issue. So that's going to be a big problem for the LA Rams. on that one. I think that's going to be a really huge problem. So I think, nevertheless, I think the way I see it with this game, I think it's going to come down to who has the ball last, and see how it goes from there for the game winner. But I think it's going to be a much tougher game on this one. I think I would say more of a defensive battle. I would say probably in the 20s or something like that, which I'm going to tell you right now. So I'm going to say Seattle over the LA Rams, despite the fact that Seattle has the much better defense, but it's a toss-up on defense on that. But Seattle plays much better at home than they do on the road, so that's why I think they have the better advantage on that. So I'm going to take Seattle over the LA Rams in that game. On the line, though, the Seattle Seahawks are favored by 4.5 in this game. I'm going to take the LA Rams plus 4.5 because I think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to be a 1-point differential. Over and under is 43. I'm going to go over 43, but I would not be surprised to be a push in between that. But I think it's going to be somewhere like in 23-20 or 23-21 or something like that. So I think it's going to be like a little close to that. Maybe 22-21 or something. I think it's going to be a little close to differential. So in Seattle's favor. So that's what I say in that one. But by the way, for Buffalo, I'm going to do score predictions this year for the playoffs. For that game, I'm going to say like at least, probably 37-33. So that's what I'm going to say for the Colts in that game. So I forgot to do that one. So that I'm going to roll with that one. So I think that's going to be in the 30s. I think that's going to be in Seattle and LA. I think it's going to be around the 40 range. But anyways, nevertheless, let's go to the Saturday, the last Saturday game, the 8:15 game, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Washington Football Team. Now, this is Tampa Bay's first playoff appearance since 2007 or 8, and I think Washington's first time since 2010, I believe, 2011, something like that. This will be their first playoff experience. So these two teams haven't been in the playoffs for a while, so this is going to be really good to watch. But nevertheless, the Bucs have Tom Brady, and the Washington Football Team have Alex Smith. So, which is pretty good in my front. And Alex Smith's wife actually made a trophy out of his brace, so it was pretty cool. That was pretty cool on that. I think the NFL should look into that, called the Alex Smith Award or something like that. But hey, you never know. But nevertheless, Alex Smith, I believe he's going to be playing the game. I think the only problem in this game scenario, the Washington Football Team has the worst offensive line in the league. And believe it or not, like I mentioned, Dwayne Haskins got cut. Now the Washington Football Team is playing former Patriots in there, like Tom Brady and Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski. I say Dwayne Haskins may go to the New England Patriots. I still believe that. So I think that's the way we're going to look up. Like I said, it's still the offseason. We got to look into that. But nevertheless, though, I think that's the way that things are going to roll out with that. So I'm going to roll into it. So anyways, that being said, but not just because Washington has one of the worst offensive line in the league, I think the Bucs are going to take advantage of that on defense, and I think the Bucs are going to really just roll them over on that one. So, but the last 7-9 team won in the playoffs, they won a wild card game. So I'm still keeping that in mind. I think that's a 50-50 shot I'm going to take. So, anyways, that being said, I'm going to take my 50-50 shot saying the Bucs are going to beat out the Washington Football Team, even though it's in Washington. But I think the Bucs are going to beat out there. I know Brady for a long time. I watched Brady, for a long time. I'll be watching that game very closely because it's Tom Brady. I want to see how he does. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still rooting for Brady in the playoffs. I would love to see him get another ring, even though it still hurts he doesn't play for the Patriots anymore. But I still want to see him get success. I'm not a Brady hater now. I never will be. I still support his decision on that. I can't hate him after what he did to my Patriots over the years. So I can't dispute that. Even with Gronk and Antonio Brown, I don't hate those guys either. Even though Antonio Brown played one game, I never hated him. I just thought he was I thought he was a good wide receiver. So I never dispute that. And even Gronk too, that being said. I'm not going to dispute Gronk for what he did. I still think he's a great player, and what he did for my Patriots too over the years. So, nevertheless, the way I look at it for that game, I still think I have faith in Tom Brady, I'm saying. So, that's why I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Washington Football Team on that. On the line, that game's a pick'em. So, I'm going to take Tampa Bay in a pick'em, so no toss-up on that. Over and under is 45. I'm going to go over 45. I think the Washington Football Team can put up some points because of the defense, but I think Tom Brady's going to and score most of the points on there. So I think they're going to receive just enough out of that. So I believe that final score will be the Bucs 35, the Redskins 21. All right, let's go to the Sunday games. Let's check that out. Let's check those out right over here. The wild card games with the Sunday game. The Chicago Bears. Hold on, excuse me for a minute. I'm sorry, wrong game. I'm going to check out. I want to check out probably the most underrated rivalry on there. I was telling my good buddy Martin wrong on that one, good of his post, and he had a good fact on that. The Ravens and the Titans in this game, and the way they looked at it, whoever was the lowest seed in that one usually won the game on that one. Which now it's the Ravens, but I think all that stuff may come to an end. I think, but I'm not going to say anything bad about the Ravens on that. I think they're a good, solid team. But, they have been hurt on COVID as well, so that's kind of doesn't really help. So, and that kind of almost cost them the season right there. Which I thought Lamar Jackson got COVID, but I don't think, I could be wrong on that too. So, I thought he did, but I don't remember. I know they had a lot of COVID issues like during early in the year too, and I started to scare it after that. I kind of noticed a lot of teams on that. A lot of teams had COVID outbreaks. They started to slow down a bit, which I'll get to the Cleveland Browns in that one in a minute. But nevertheless, though. But, usually it's stuff like that. I noticed with Cam this year, and when he got COVID, he just never was the same. He never really played well after that, and after he got COVID, which just kind of hurt him. Kind of hurt us, I think. I think that's why we didn't make the playoffs, because of that. And, of course, we had a lot of injury problems, too. But that's the Patriots. That's another time. But nevertheless, though, I think the Ravens, I believe they still got guys out on COVID, but I'm not sure on that one. But, Lamar Jackson, I think he could still play, though. I think this is going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a lot closer game, but I think it's going to be a lot tighter. But Derrick Henry, I think he's going to, Derrick Henry in the playoffs, like he did last year, but he was just one game short of the Super Bowl. I think Mike Vrabel, Derrick Henry, and Ryan Tannehill, I think they're going to do something. I think they're going to pull off something. I think they're going to probably win this game outright. And I'm going to say an upset on this one because the Ravens are favored in this game. I'm going to pull off a big upset in this game. I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans over the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore due to the fact the Ravens have the COVID issue right now. So I'm going to have to say that the Tennessee Titans over the Baltimore Ravens in Tennessee. On the line, though, Ravens are favored by 3.5 in this game. I'm going to take Tennessee plus 3.5. Over and under, it's 55. I'm going to go over 55, which I think that's going to be an over game, I think. But the way I see it, I'm going to go with the Titans 42, Ravens 28. So I believe that's the way I see that one. That one's going to head. But anyways, the Chicago Bears and the New Orleans Saints. Like I said, this could be a playoff preview for the Packers and the Bears, but I'm thinking it might be, but there's a big shot at that. So it could, but we have to wait. But anyways, I think in this game, the Saints and the Bears. But now that I heard recently about Drew Brees retiring after this year, I think that since that what's gonna happen, usually teams like that, they win in the playoffs where it matters the most. So it's like Ray Lewis did, John Elway did, Peyton Manning did, the list can go on like that. So, the way I look at it. But have a walk-off season like that, like I mentioned, like Peyton Manning and John Elway and guys like that. But that being said and all that, and I do believe Roger Staubach did too, back in late '79 when he won it. I think he did win after he retired, but I'm not sure. But I think he did. It was something similar to that. Terry Bradshaw did. I know that. So, but anyways, like I'm saying, usually who have like those experiences like that, they usually have a big send off like that. So I think that's the way I'm gonna roll. I said the Saints early in the year they're gonna go to the Super Bowl, and I believe I said they won it. So hold on, I think I did say that early in the year. So in my very early predictions, I think I did. Now I gotta look back to my early predictions, so I gotta find that out. I don't think it was this one. This one? But anyways, nevertheless, well, it's not here, but nevertheless, I did say that. I believe I did say the Saints in my early NFL prediction video. They were gonna win it, and I'm still sticking with that. So I'm gonna say the New Orleans Saints over the Chicago Bears in New Orleans. On the line though, New Orleans is favored by 9.5 in this game. I'm taking New Orleans minus 9.5. Over and under 48. I'm gonna go over 48. Final score in that game. The final score. Final score. I'm gonna say. I believe it's gonna be It's gonna go over 48. I believe it's gonna be. I'm gonna say. Saints 35. The Ravens. The Chicago Bears 20. So that's what I'm gonna say with that one. 35-20 New Orleans Saints in that game. All right, the last wild card game, and this is where it's gonna get really dicey on this one for me. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. Look, congratulations to Cleveland. They got their first playoff found in the first time in over 17 years. But now they have a COVID issue. Another snake-bitten moment for the Cleveland Browns. Don't get me wrong, Baker Mayfield grew up maturely like he was supposed to, and he's playing very well. Don't get me wrong. I do believe that he could, but I'm going to say this, though. I'm going to say James Perry. I believe he could be on Coach of the Year, I think. I believe he can be Coach of the Year now. I think he'd be a good candidate for that. I believe he'd be a good favorite to win it now during the NFL awards. So I think I would go with that one. But nevertheless, Mike Tomlin, Big Ben, really good. They made it to the postseason, got the division, even though they struggled a little bit to get there, but they finally got it in that division. Week 16. Now they had to beat Cleveland to eliminate them. That didn't work out. Look at them now. Now that's the rematch of Week 17, and now they get to have another crack at it. But the way I seeing this game, it's going to be a very, very tight game. I think this is going to come down to one play. I hate to do this, Cleveland. I'm very sorry. It's another snake-bitten franchise going to continue. I'm sorry. But you're going to have great success years to come. I'm not going to lie. But not this year. So I'm going to say Pittsburgh over the Cleveland Browns in Pittsburgh. Sorry, Cleveland. I had to do that to you. Another snake-bitten moment for Cleveland because of COVID. So because they have a lot of guys on outbreak, but James Perry, he's not going to be coaching. I'm sorry. And a couple of assistants on Cleveland is not going to be coaching. Some players are not playing, even though Baker Mayfield's a fine. But offensively, no. It's not good. So, anyways, what I'm saying is, now they have to be quarantined for that. It's not going to be good. So that's why I'm picking Pittsburgh over the Browns in Pittsburgh. On the line, though, Pittsburgh is favored by 4 in this game. I'm going to take Pittsburgh minus 4. Over and under 47. I'm going to go under 47. But the final score in that game, Pittsburgh 24, Cleveland 21. All right, shout-outs this week is good. My good old friend Martin Wrong for that very great fact about the Ravens and Titans game. But anyways, not only that, shout-out to him. Shout-out to my good friend Edward Leonard as well, who gave me a shout-out in his video. I'll give him a shout-out back in return, so I'm going to give him one for that. Anyways, with that being said, and another shout-out is my good old friend Half Moon's Picks. Check him out, too. And wish him happy belated birthday, because he's just celebrated a birthday around New Year's, so happy belated birthday to Half Moon. So anyway, check those guys out and the rest of the NFL YouTube prognosticator page down below right here in my description box. Until then, this is Andrew Warren saying, stay safe, wash your hands, and walk out. Rock out back, guys. And good luck to your picks this week.